The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, led by RFK Jr., has just called out puberty blockers, cross sex hormones, and so called gender affirming surgeries for children for what they are: dangerous, unproven, and harmful. For the first time, the federal government is telling doctors to stop experimenting on children. This is huge. It's a victory for parents, for truth, but most importantly, for our children. Hey, everybody, I'm Julie Barrett, and I'm the founder of Conservative Ladies of America. And I am back today to tell you about a huge win coming out of Washington, D.C., specifically from the Health and Human Services Department. This is a real, measurable, common sense win for parents, for truth, but most importantly, for our children. On May 28th, 2025, the United States Department of Health and Human Services, under the direction of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., took a bold stand against one of the most disturbing trends in modern medicine, so-called gender-affirming care targeted towards minor children. And I'm sure that we can all agree it is about time, it is past time. Secretary Kennedy sent a letter to healthcare providers, risk managers, and health boards across the country, urging them to immediately update their treatment protocols for children with gender dysphoria. The data is in, and the science behind these treatments is shockingly weak. The HHS review found very weak evidence of benefit for puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and so-called gender-affirming surgeries. What it did find is a laundry list of potential harms coming from so-called gender-affirming care, including infertility, long-term health complications, and even sterilization. These are not minor side effects. These are life-altering consequences for children. And yet for years, these procedures and these hormones, and yet for years, these procedures have been passed by activist groups like WPATH, who wrote the Standards of Care 8. The HHS did not mince words, and they called those standards fraudulent. They said it is built on ideology and not science. We've been watching this unfold for the last several years. Children are rushed into so-called gender-affirming care. They're given hormones and puberty blockers, and sometimes even irreversible surgeries, while parents are often kept in the dark, or worse, removed entirely from the decision-making process. Puberty blockers have been sold as reversible and just pushing pause on puberty. But now we know they can damage brain development, bone density, and fertility irreversibly. This is exactly what the UK's Cass review said last year. And now the United States is finally catching up. This is a victory for truth. It's a victory for parental rights. And most importantly, it's a victory for our children, who deserve care based on compassion, not ideology. And let's be clear, no one is saying that children do not suffer from gender dysphoria. What we are saying, and what HHS is now saying, is that these children should not be rushed into irreversible hormones and puberty blockers and even surgeries. Usually these kids have deeper issues like depression, trauma, and anxiety. And a lot of times you see kids who are on the autism spectrum as being targeted for these types of treatments. These kids need therapy, they need support, they need love, they need to be included and told that they are perfect just the way they are. What they don't need is hormones and surgeries that cause irreversible harm and often make their underlying issues of depression, trauma, and anxiety much, much worse. Now, here's something I want you all to understand. This victory is only just the beginning. The transgender advocacy movement has built massive infrastructure over the years, and they are not going to go down without a fight. We can expect to see pushback from activist groups, from medical profession organizations, and from political groups who have invested heavily in promoting these treatments. They're going to fight this HHS guidance tooth and nail. That's why it's critical that citizens like you and me stay vigilant and get in this fight. We need to monitor what's happening in our schools, in our hospitals, in our doctors' offices, and in our state legislatures. We need to make sure that this federal guidance actually gets implemented and is not quietly ignored or undermined. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. And now it's up to us us, you and me, to keep the pressure on. Let your doctors know about this letter. Let your schools know. Let your legislators know. We expect evidence-based care for our children, not radical experimentation. To every parent who has been silenced and even cut out of their child's health care, every grandparent who's worried about what is happening to their grandchildren, and every citizen who believes in truth and science, this is your moment. Celebrate it. But be vigilant. This isn't over. This is just the beginning. The activists are not going to back down easily. Evil just doesn't walk away and call it a day. They are going to fight back with everything they have. They will come back with a vengeance. But we have truth on our side, and now we have science on our side. And most importantly, we have the courage to protect our children, to protect America's children. I'm going to have links down below in the description for the HHS letter and for the gender dysphoria report that came out of HHS so that you can go check it out for yourself. Please share this video far and wide. This is a huge win, and it's also a call to action so that we will stay engaged, we will stay in the fight, and that we really use this win as motivations to step up our efforts in this fight. If you're not already, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our Substack, which is the best way to get breaking alerts and calls to action. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.